Well, welcome back to another episode of Fox Sports Live NRL. I'm Eloise Sohier, joined every week with Josh Morris, and we're getting to the pointy end of the season. So it's getting exciting, Josh. Looking forward to the next couple of weeks?
I am. I think the top four is pretty much sewn up now, but it's that bottom eight that is the real interest, and there's a number of teams fighting for that. So a couple of games coming up in the next 3 weeks that will decide that fate.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get straight into round 25, and it kicks off tonight, Thursday night, Cowboys hosting the Sharks. Now, you have tossed and turned with your decision who you're going to back here. You're originally going with the Cowboys at home, and now you're tipping the Sharks. Why the change?
Yeah, look, I just think that they've got more to play for. They're still chasing that top four position. Obviously, they had a pretty rough month, but their last 2 weeks, the footy that they've played, they had that win against Souths where they were very dominant and then ran up a score against the Titans. So I just like the way that they're playing. I think the defence has come back, but it's not going to be an easy game for them. The Cowboys up there is always tough to win, and they've got Jason Taumalolo, who's having a milestone game. So they'll be right up for it. It was a flip of the coin, but I'm leaning towards the Sharks.
Right, taking the Sharks in that one. Let's move to Friday's game, and it sees the Warriors taking on the Seagulls across the ditch in New Zealand. Now, the Seagulls are talking about mathematically making the finals. When a team's talking mathematically about making the top eight, is that them well and truly out of the fight?
No, well, I think we've seen that the Roosters are a mathematical chance still as well, and they're probably played their best football the last 2 weeks. So Manly are in the same boat as them. They need to win every week to try and get into that eight. They will be desperate, but I just really like the way the Warriors have gone about their work this year. They were disappointed after their win last week against the Tigers, who took it to the wire against them. They'll want a better performance here, and I think they will do that against Manly. So I'll tip the Warriors in this one.
What about the battle of the two veteran halfbacks in Sean Johnson and DC? We've seen what sort of form they've been in 2023. So many of those sort of veteran playmakers in the game, including Adam Reynolds, finding their best form. What do you like about that matchup, and who comes out on top?
Oh, I really like that matchup. I think their kicking game will probably decide the match, to be honest. I think Daly has one of the best kicking games in the game. And then Sean Johnson, the way he's played this year, he's been able to control the game with his kicking game as well. But he's come up with some clutch moments as well. And if it comes down to golden point, they both can kick a field goal as well. So two great halves going up against each other. It should be an exciting clash. But like I said, I like the Warriors in this one.
Yeah, can't wait for that one. The other Friday night games, of course, the Eels hosting the Roosters. Are you giving the Roosters one more chance, Josh?
I am giving them one more chance, and I think it's more so because of the fact that Mitch Moses is out. I think Parramatta's chances of making the finals are now shot without him. I don't think they can get the job done against the Roosters. They do welcome back Regan Campbell-Gillard and Mike Acevo, but I like the way the Roosters went about their work last week against the Dolphins. They kind of grinded it away and then came away with the points later in the game. So I really like Drew Hutchinson in the halves. I think he's really complimented Luke Keary there, and they welcome back Angus Crichton as well. So he's a massive boost heading into the game for the Roosters. So I'll tip the Roosters.
Well, Tigers take on the Dolphins. Now, this one, a lot of fans may be thinking, or a lot of rugby league fans may be thinking it's not too exciting, but there's plenty to play for. The Tigers want to impress and get a win the back end of this season. The Dolphins, well, they're looking to get back into the winner's circle. They've only won 3 from their past 11. No hammer for the Dolphins. Which way do you see this one going?
I actually have tipped the Tigers this week. I really like the way that they've been playing. They haven't got the win lately, but they've been close in all their games. They are starting to be really competitive, and they just need a little bit of luck to go their way. And I just don't think the Dolphins have been inspiring at all. And obviously with the loss of Hammer as well, who is their best player, I see this one being a Tigers victory, and they need it too, because obviously there's been a bit written about them this week as well. A win can take away those distractions.
That's what I was going to say. Is there any form of distraction with the news of Tim Sheens heading off from head coach and Benji Marshall coming in and his tenure coming to an end? Does that serve as a distraction, or does it galvanise the squad?
Look, for some it may be a distraction, but I think for the older fellas it will galvanise the squad. I think they know what the future is now. There's no uncertainty about it. Obviously, it's been written about, but like I said, a win and these type of things go away. So I think that'll be the main focus for the Tigers. And they have been playing some good football. They took the Warriors to the wire last week over there in Hamilton. So I like what they're doing, and I think they're going to be primed for a win here.
Saturday game, Titans hosting the Panthers. Now, the Titans have come away with some big wins up there at Seabus Stadium, the likes of the Cowboys and also to the Storm in rounds gone by. But this coming up against the Premiers would certainly be one of their bigger tests, would you say?
Yeah, they don't stand a chance, I don't think, Eloise. I think they're obviously they had a loss to the Sharkies on the weekend, and it was pretty poor watching if you're a Titans fan. And they come up against the Premiers. They're just really starting to click into gear now, and I think we'll see after 10 minutes which Titans side shows up as to how the game's going to be. I've tipped Penrith in. I think they should win very comfortably.
What about the Dragons and the Storm? Is this one that you could see the Storm coming away with pretty comfortable, sort of hitting their straps, the back end? The Dragons, well, they're well and truly out of the top eight and probably looking towards 2024.
Yeah, well, I think the Storm showed that they're still a premiership threat. Obviously, the game last weekend against Canberra, it was 4 versus 5 and 48 points to 2. They were clinical last weekend. That, as we keep speaking about, we're still waiting for Pappenhausen to come back. If he slots into this side and shows the form that he had when he was playing for the Storm, I mean, they're a smoky to win the comp.
I quite like this next matchup with the Knights taking on the Rabbitohs. We know the Knights are on a run of consecutive wins. The Rabbitohs have been accused this week of being a lazy footy team after their uninspiring win last week. How do you see this one unfolding, and how wary should the Rabbitohs be of a Knights team? Yeah,
look, I've tipped South in this one, but not confidently. I mean, the Knights had a big win over the Bulldogs at home. The Bunnies, they won against the Dragons, but like you said, it was uninspiring. They really need their spine to step up. For me, I think it's Cody Walker. I think if he has a big game, I think he can put the team on his shoulders and get the win for South. And for the Knights, obviously, their main man, Kalen Ponga, if he has an outstanding game, well, then they get the win. So I've tipped South here, but I think that's the game of the round, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. Could come down to the wire. Just lastly, the Raiders hosting the Bulldogs. Now, the two sides that have copped an absolute hammering last week, both looking to post points on the board and sort of put some respect back in their side. What do you like about this game to round out round 25?
Yeah, well, Ricky gave his side a pretty good spray after the match against the Storm, so they'll be right up for this one. Same as the Doggies. I mean, they were pretty bad in the first half against the Knights. They showed a bit of fight in their second half, but they just need to start playing some good football. They need to finish the season, this next 3 or 4 weeks, off on a high. They need to start playing some good football and get themselves ready for the preseason. I think the Raiders, they've just got too much to play for, so I've tipped them here in this one.
Yeah, plenty to play for the Raiders. Round 25 is upon us. Josh Morris, thanks so much for your time. And as always, we'll review it next week.
Thanks, Eloise.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.